What do you bring to a sales meeting? It sounds like a really dumb question. Craig, I bring myself, I bring brochures, I bring a demo. Yes, you bring all that stuff. I'm actually talking about something much more simple, but powerful. Do you bring an agenda? I know that sounds mundane, but many people will debate this. Well, yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And the answer is probably somewhere in between. Sometimes with a formal meeting, of course, a best practice would be to bring a written agenda. First we do this at 9 o'clock, then we do this at 9:15, then we're gonna wrap up at 9:45, whatever, action steps, next steps. A written agenda is, I think we can agree, a best practice. Now, I will fully admit to everybody that sometimes a written agenda would be overly formal, and if it's just a flyby, if I'm just walking down the hall and flying by Justin's office and catching him for 5 minutes, that would be weird to bring a written agenda. All that good, let's agree that a written agenda for a meeting of any stakes is a best practice. However, there is something that you bring to every single meeting of any stakes, no matter what. I call it the purpose benefit check. So I roll into a meeting, we make small talk, every meeting starts with small talk, and then the meeting begins. Every sales meeting starts like this. Okay, something like that. Somebody takes a deep breath or says, okay, let's get started, right? And that's the start of your meeting. That's the trigger for what I call the purpose benefit check. The purpose benefit check is a verbal sales discipline. It is one of the most important disciplines that you can do. Every meeting that is without a purpose benefit check will look undisciplined and undifferentiated next to your meeting that has a purpose benefit check. Here's what it looks like. Justin and I are doing small talk. I take a deep breath. He takes a deep breath, says, okay, Craig, let's get started. I say, great, Justin. The purpose of our meeting today is to cover two things that I think are important, X and Y. What I think we'll gain, Justin, from this 45 minutes together are A and B. How does that sound? Full stop. It is a verbal discipline that sets the agenda. Whether you have a written agenda or not, you do a purpose benefit check. Think about what it does. The purpose states why you're there, obviously. It gives you some credibility in the customer's eyes. Even unconsciously, you're gaining credibility in his or her eyes because you know why you're there and you've stated it verbally. The benefit, the middle part, is the gain, right? I've actually thought through what we, you or I or both of us, are gonna gain from this time together. And then don't forget about this little last thing, the check. Don't throw that away. Don't think that's just the minor sort of thing you say at the end. What we know from Robert Cialdini's research on influence, he wrote the book 35 years ago called Influence, the Power of Persuasion. One of the 6 principles of influence is called consistency and commitment. And if I say to Justin, how does that sound? So Justin, the purpose of this meeting is to do X and Y. What I think we'll gain from this time together is A and B. How does that sound? How does that sound? When he says yes, research would suggest that if he verbalizes a yes to my purpose benefit check, I am instantly more influential and powerful with Justin in the room or on the phone. Think about the implications of that. It's crazy when you stop and think about it. It's also true. So a purpose benefit check is just a little verbal discipline. Here's the good news. The good news is you don't have to do tons of homework to get this. You wrote the agenda, you're driving in an Uber to the meeting, you know why you're there. All you have to do is verbalize it. And this little discipline, this little construct, will help you deliver the goods right at the beginning of the meeting. And then notice one last thing. It also leverages the power of silence. When I say, Justin, the purpose is to do this, what I think we'll gain is this. How does that sound? I stop and I let him into the conversation, and now we're actually having a conversation. So many meetings don't do this. Watch for it. Watch for it. Now that you're equipped and armed with the purpose benefit check, most meetings will look blurry, fluffy, unproductive compared to you doing just this first thing at the beginning of a meeting, the purpose benefit check. Use it.